In this video, I'll spell out why martial and marital are connected. But first, I have to help you understand why they're changing my image. Remember, the word image is I mage and I game scrambled. And game has the first word of the word game is gay, and the second word, and it's not referring to me, but everyone who doesn't obey God through me, is me. Because Gaia, which is another name for G, the earth deity, the Roman earth deity, the Middle Eastern earth deities, etc., okay, is a play on words for gay, IA. And of course, the Romans, the Greeks, the Spartans, the Cretans, on and on and on, they were LGBT themed and often gay and often boy lovers and so on and so forth. Especially the Athenians, it's even in the movie 300, okay, where they're playing a kind of controlled opposition against boy lover ideology, which is kind of what's in popular culture as well, where both parties tend to try to scapegoat each other as the pedophiles. The right wing subtly alludes to the LGBT community on the left being pedophiles, and the LGBT community subtly alludes to the right wing church being pedophiles, and sometimes they're more obviously stating it. All right. Now, let's look at the word horror, right? Horror. They're saying be a whore, or it's going to be like a horror movie. That's why there's so many prostitutes, escorts, and gold diggers, because after you do this for a long time, people kind of are breeding people who are more inclined to do that. People who aren't, they're killed, so on and so forth. It's part of what Christianity was about, and so on and so forth. Okay. Also the word a-llied, alpha lied, all lied, and lay lied. Okay. Also the word together, to get her. Of course, pirate is rape, is scrambled, prepare, pre-rape, compare, come rape. It all scrambled, right? Spare and rapes. You see how this couldn't be a coincidence? It all lines up. This is a sort of colonial recipe for organized rape. Now, you might say, well, why did they do it? Okay, now, first of all, the rape is scum, first of all. Simple answer. Second answer is there's a bunch of rich, arrogant people who for years and years and years and generations were in cults who were, I guess the light just went out there. They were in cults that were kind of embracing their egos, and they said that they needed barbarian mercenaries and stuff like this, and barbarians would go and rape people, Vikings and Celts and whoever else was there, Visigoths, Goths. They go around raping people and so on and so forth, beating them up, so on and so forth. So when they looked at splitting the pie, right, pirate, it included the raping and pillaging and rape and booty. So it evolved into the modern Western system, and they still do it: military, police, gangs, government groups, corporate groups. Corpus, where we get the word corporate, is corpus. Okay, this is important. Now, obviously, you see I didn't turn off the light myself. It started blinking for a while and dimmed. It's an example of, for whatever reason, things are happening like that in my videos, we'll say. Now we'll get to the word martial. Martial is marital scrambled. Okay? Other people have no right to play theater fucking games. Okay? I don't play theater games, and no one has a right to, but other people certainly do not. They have no right to get married with rape cult foundations. Okay? To get married outside of the divine order. If you don't obey God through me, you're confusing people about who's ideal, and that is the foundation of all rape, is people seeing other people not obeying God through me and saying, hey, you should obey George Bush or this, and this. Obey the left, the right, the middle. Obey some secret society guy, your corporation, your parents. And they're obeying all kinds of scum instead of moral precision through me, because it's immoral. It is the essence of immoral to not obey God through me and to cheat the top martial artist out of his rightful place. Now let's explore the martial art principles in a way that a child should be able to understand, and you'll see that I'm right. Remember, they're also blurring the line between me and other people. If you look at me carefully, okay, you see that I'm headed up. I'm divine, I'm otherworldly, okay? They use magic and psychology and theater arts to confuse this, okay? And you look at the Freemasons and them, they try to, boarding school, healthy guys, they try to look a certain way, social clubs, frats, where they're confusing that. But you know by the context and their cultures and their fruits and their deeds, and they're attaching themselves to certain groups, and their inability to separate themselves from those groups, and their inability to put God first, and they're putting social norms first. You know, for a laundry list of reasons, all myriad of reasons, that they are scum. Okay? Now going back to martial is marital. The word martial is the word marital scrambled. And this isn't a coincidence. So let's look at the martial art principles. And you understand these are principles of life, and they're principles that marriages are supposed to be based on, that families are supposed to live by. Virtue, honor, heart, moral focus, discipline, will, determination, timing, moral repetition, cause and effect, honesty, spirit, dedication, concentration, clarity, intensity, inspiration, wisdom, insight, sharpness, valor, maturity, transcending the illusion of the game, transcend, okay? Purity, divine order, not evil world order, but divine order. Sacrifice and true respect, giving respect where it's due. A willingness to accept and respect those who are more righteous, right? Character, more higher character than you do. Those who transcend. Those who do not transcend are supposed to obey me, the one guy who transcended. Not Buddhist monks, with all due respect, if any of us do, okay, to be diplomatic, who go through the motions of transcending, but they didn't transcend their desire to separate from their responsibility to obey the source of justice through me in the martial art order. A lot of these guys are even warrior monks, kung fu monks. So why didn't they scramble to obey God through me with no viable counterargument? As soon as you use the word virtue in any religion, what you do must be the virtuous thing to do with no viable counterargument, okay? Or it's not the virtuous thing, okay? The hero is greater than the monk. The monk withdraws any claim to virtue by withdrawing from his responsibility. The hero faces evil. You see what I'm saying? It is backwards and an evil world order for the hero to obey the monk. The monk is withdrawn. He doesn't want any trouble. He didn't go to war for what's right. He didn't, the Lord is the warrior in the Bible. The Lord is the warrior, the Lord is his name. He goes to war for what is right. The Lord marches out like a mighty warrior, like a champion. He stirs up his zeal. And he raises the battle cry. Isaiah 42:13. Okay, Psalm 19. He doesn't withdraw. Okay? And this is key. So these martial art principles in their true form, not their popular culture and accepted form and government sponsored and government allowed form, but the true form that the government screens out. Okay, ver in virtue means man. Honor, true honor is honoring the source of righteousness first. If your family is not obeying God through me, there's no way to honor them because they're dishonorable. Okay, the only thing that comes close is to obey God through me. Then on a fluke, they'll have raised somebody who did what they didn't do. You see what I'm saying? Heart, right? He art, right? Where the home is where the heart is. Are you of this world? Are you accepting being of this world? Are you transcending? Okay? That the heart to do the right thing. And that heart goes into marriage. And they talk about God as love. Where is love associated with? The heart, right? The brain, the heart connection, the feelings, the emotions when one is doing the right thing and not the emotions of somebody conforming and feeling some warm fuzzies. Pedophiles feel warm fuzzies. Rapists and their victims often feel warm fuzzies for the rapist. That is not love. That is sickness. That is Stockholm nonsense and other assorted trash like that. Okay, so I don't want to go on too long, so let's just end it there. These martial art principles, I could write a book on any one of them alone. Spirit, right? Dedication, and go on and on and on about this inspiration, intensity. And I see how the light just went back on. Okay? You see what I'm saying? Stuff like that happens. And I was just talking about spirit. Okay? And it strongly suggests that there's some kind of remote controlled activity taking place here. Okay? That's done by the state. Now, they might end this video and make it seem like the light didn't go off and on. Okay? That's why you've got to know when you look at somebody, and you got to look at the context and truly look into their soul before your mind is too turned to mush by all the substances and all the psychology and all the technologies and stuff in the air and food and so on and so forth. Okay? You need to truly look inside people and say, what's going on here? Okay? When God made the planet and the heavens and the earth, okay, he made it so that you would look around and say, what's going on here? And you'd realize that justice must come first, right? Love that's not derived from justice is just evil. In fact, the word love is a play on words for evil because the vowels can be interchangeable. Vow, El meaning Lord. So love backwards, okay, is E-V-O-L, like evolution, but you can replace the O with an I. So, be careful what kind of love you have. If it's not from morally precise justice, if it's not from being in the divine order and obeying God through me, it's just Satanism. Witchcraft, Okay, switchcraft, witchcraft, right? Who wants to switchcraft? And witchcraft, first and foremost, is about social order, and it's about who's dating who and who's sleeping with who's reproducing with who. That's why they're a hag. Inside and outside, more often than not, they're hags, right? In the Bible, they talk about Hagar, and they settled for the world versus the Jerusalem in the sky in Galatians 4.